So what are your thoughts on making the championship four? And when you first started NASCAR, did you think that you would make it into the championship four this early in your career?
Well, yeah, certainly excited about it, and excited for the opportunity. It's one of those things I've never experienced before, so I'm kind of just taking a day at a time in a lot of ways, and going through the motions that I've never gone through before. So it's kind of cool. Obviously, the landscape of this year is really different, just with the media and the COVID thing and the schedule being different. It's not the typical situation you would be in the past. So just learning as I go, because I've never done it. So, but definitely excited and looking forward to the opportunity, and hopefully we can make the most of it.
Well, you got to do one thing. You got to take a Martinsville clock back to the Elliott household, which is something that your dad didn't get to do. But he is a champion. So has he given you any advice how to focus on this week and block out the distractions?
Yeah, that's really cool. I actually didn't know that until like halfway through the day on Monday. Somebody said that to me. Oh, that's kind of cool. But I think, for us, we're just focused on the weekend. And I think the biggest thing from him is just been enjoy the moment, because, you hear that from guys who have been doing it for a long time. And it's so hard as a competitor to really sit back and just enjoy it. You're always looking forward to the next thing. You're always looking ahead. You're always trying to think about what's next. And I think that, days like Sunday, you wish, or I wish so bad that I could slow down time. Like, once the checkered flag, I want the checkered flag to get there ASAP, right? If not sooner, in a situation. Right, if you're in the lead. But right after that, I'd love for it to slow down and stop for a little while and enjoy it, because it goes by so fast. And those moments don't happen every day, and they just don't. So you have to enjoy them. So that's been the message from him. And that's really kind of how I'm approaching the week in general. And this is a moment that you can't take for granted. Making the Final Four isn't something that comes every day. It's not an opportunity you're always going to have. And you never know when that last race win is going to be. So enjoy it, because you don't know what's next.
What is the biggest concern heading to Phoenix? Like, what's kept you up at night about those laps on Sunday?
Yeah, surprisingly, I've actually slept really good this week. I went to bed at 8:30 last night. I got like 12 hours of sleep for some reason. So I don't, maybe I'm getting old. I don't really know why. But yeah, I've slept really nice, but just been thinking about, the car, thinking about more than anything, that first spring race this year. It's not like we don't have any practice going in the race weekend. So I'm really just thinking about, what we did good, what I felt like we excelled at in our race car last race, and then also the things that I felt like we struggled with, and trying to take those struggles and fix them the right way. And those are the things that are going to make you perform good or not. And that's really what matters. So just a lot of thinking and time on that.
So only driver in the Final Four who's making their first appearance. Is this an extra challenge?
I don't think so. I mean, first off, the other three don't care how many times you've been in it. So I'm not sure that it really matters. None of your competitors want you to do good. So that's irrelevant in my opinion. So, the way I view it is we have an equal opportunity to the other three guys in it, no matter how many times you've been there. So, I don't know that it really matters.
All right, two more. What advice do you have for younger drivers, or just younger folks in general who look up to you?
I think just focusing on the things that really matter, and that's such a boring and bland answer, but, there's just a lot of things I feel like as you go through a racing career, or probably anything, outside opinions, outside influences, things that are irrelevant. And really, I think to kind of put it into kind of what I'm going through this week is just what matters is that race car and how prepared I'm going to be when I get in on Sunday. And really outside of that, there's nothing outside of those two things. And your team preparation is going to give you a better chance to win. And when you're in a performance industry, that's really all that matters. So focus on the things that matter.
All right, last one. This time last year, we were getting ready for a race at Homestead. How different is it going to be the championship now at Phoenix?
Well, I've never been a part of it at Homestead, so my season's been over when we got to Miami. So not that I had written it off, I still wanted to go down there and win, but certainly a different vibe and just not being in the points anymore and not having a chance to win a championship. So I can't answer that. Never done it. So this is my first go, and yeah, we'll all learn together, I guess.
All right, so you've waited so long for this moment. If you won, first person you call, who is that?
First person I call. Actually, short of the people that are actually going to be here, I would say probably going to be Fred Smith from FedEx. I mean, he's just been such a big supporter of us. He's usually the first call that when Joe hands the phone over in Victory Lane, or what used to anyway. He'd be always the guy that I was talking to and appreciating the support that he's given us. So I'd call FedEx first.
Knowing you came here last year and won at Phoenix, does that give you an advantage over the others? And do you think you have an advantage being the most winningest driver among the other four?
I don't think it gives us an advantage, our win last year, because things are so different. The tires are a little bit different. The aerodynamic package of the cars is different. So it's so week to week, like I talked about, that we can't draw any similarities from last year in my mind to this year, but you just never know. I mean, I wasn't expecting to nearly lap the field last year, but we did. So it was just, one of those special weekends. But yeah, I hopefully have a car like that again. And, for myself, it'd be awesome.
What's your mentality coming into the weekend, and who do you think is the biggest threat?
I try to think about, threats and things like that. And each one of them poses their own threat. I mean, they're all good at this racetrack. It's just a matter in my mind of which team executes is number one. Number two would be who's got the fastest car. And so I think any one of them can take over that, number one lead role on any given weekend, especially at Phoenix. So I view them evenly. This is definitely a tough one to handicap for sure.
All right, a couple more. What advice do you have for younger people or younger racers who are looking up to you?
Well, I mean, I didn't always have a whole lot of success, or the outlook for making it to NASCAR Cup Series was not always, bright, but, we persevered and kept pushing. And for myself, I would say that, I appreciate them looking up to me, and hopefully if they have their dreams, whatever it might be, to visualize it, write it down, and it can happen.
And last one, how much different do you think the championship will be this year racing at Phoenix instead of Homestead?
It will be different. I mean, there's certainly, when you think about restarts and whatnot, on the short tracks, they're always a little bit more wild than what they are at Homestead. So if it comes down to a shootout at the end, certainly it could get physical. So you got to prepare for that. Hopefully you got a strong car that's good on the short run and the long run, which is difficult there. So it's, total crapshoot in my mind.
So first one, so far in your career, you've both won and lost in the championship race. How are these experiences going to affect your strategy and your mindset heading into Phoenix?
Yeah, I always go in the championship round saying I can't lose. I either win or I get stronger. And it's the same as a team, right? We're either going to win as a team or we're going to become a stronger team because of it. And that's honestly what it's about being in the championship for. I think at the first time I went to the championship for, I didn't have a chance of winning that race. I thought maybe I did, and then I was very nervous the whole time, and I wasn't prepared. But how do you prepare if you've never been in the moment before? And each time I've been in the championship for, I feel like I've learned something very valuable and become stronger and more ready for the next opportunity. So being in now for a fourth time, losing a couple, winning one of them, obviously makes me feel very confident that we've learned our lessons, we've figured out how to win, and we're back at it again. So it's very exciting to me. It becomes an exciting weekend more than anything, knowing that either way, I'm getting something out of this weekend. I'm going to be a better person, or I'm going to have a pretty sweet trophy next to me. I'd rather the trophy. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather the trophy, but you just can't lose.
So you won at Phoenix earlier this year. Are you going to use the exact same car and game plan, or will it be different?
I believe it's a different car. Our chassis are all built the same. So honestly, the car chassis number, things like that, I don't even know what I'm driving, to be honest with you. They're all the same. So, and I don't really have feelings for cars. So they're just a number. We use them, abuse them, and throw them out. That's what a race car is. So we'll, obviously tweak on our race car from where we were, setup wise and adjust some things to try to be better. But it won't be the same car, I don't believe.
What will the emotions be like at the end of the season if you're a two-time champion?
Pretty excited. A lot of fist pumps and high fives and yelling and screaming. Like I said, you can't put it into words. You just end up really just yelling. And that's what I remember last time from the championship is we all, like, as a team, we all just looked at each other and just yelled. Like, there's nothing to say. There's nothing, you don't know how to explain it. You just get excited and yell and scream at each other.
All right, 3 more. What's your mindset coming into this weekend? How do you block out the distractions? And what will it take to win the championship?
The mindset's pretty confident. I feel really good about where we're at. I feel good about our chances. How do we block out the distractions? You just stay busy. That's just what I do. I'm busy from the beginning to the end of the day, every day. So it's not really hard for me to stay busy or distracted from what it is. I'm able to just kind of focus in on my job 100%. And then when I'm done with that, I shut it off, I go home, I'm with my family and my kids. And I'm able to just focus in on trying to be a good husband and dad. And that's nice that I can kind of flip that switch back and forth. And that's helpful and kind of keeps me fresh and helps me enjoy life a little bit too.
What advice do you have for the younger generation of either race car drivers or just for athletes and people in general that look up to you?
Probably my favorite thing to think about is that mistakes are maybe the best opportunity to learn, and that mistakes aren't really that bad. As long as you don't make it twice, and that really stinks and that's going to sting. But making a mistake for the first time, there's no shame in that. And I've made plenty of them. I've said a lot of stupid things. I've done a lot of stupid things. I don't regret any of them because I've learned from every one of them. So that's probably my best advice that I got.
All right, last one. How much different do you think the racing will be at Phoenix versus Homestead?
The racing will be different, right? So strategy is going to be different. The line is different. It's a short track. You're able to get to each other. So, how those late race restarts end up. And, you look at turn 1, you have the dog leg, and then you have turn 1 it's 6 acres wide. You can go wherever you want to go. So that really opens up the opportunity to do a lot of things to try to pass cars and move your way forward. So that's a lot different than Miami. Miami is a wide track, but you got the 550 package there. You're a little bit more, your hands are a little bit more tied, where here you're coming off the gas, you're on the brakes. There's a lot more opportunity to make some things happen.
Considering that 3 of your 4 wins this year have been on short tracks, are you more confident than ever now going to Phoenix for the championship?
Yeah, I think I'm more confident than I would have been going to Homestead for sure. Homestead has now been one of our strongest tracks, and Phoenix and specifically the flatter tracks this year have been very strong for us. So our confidence level is pretty high. There's no guarantees, but we feel like we're going to go out there and run really, really well.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident do you feel going into the championship?
Oh, wow. Scale 1 to 10.
That's 10 being the best. So let's make 10 the best.
Being the best. Well, that's good. I feel like we're probably 7 or 8. Pretty high.
Okay. What would it mean at the end of the season if they now introduce you as Brad Keselowski, 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion?
It'll give you some goosebumps, the good kind. I was thinking about that. My uniform says champion, but it doesn't say 2X in front of it. I would like to get a new uniform next year for sure. Okay.
Okay. What's the mindset coming into this weekend, and what is it going to take to win the championship at a track like Phoenix?
I think the mindset is go win the race. You're going to have to win to guarantee the championship, and you're going to have to be fast. You're going to have to execute, do everything right.
Okay. And what advice do you have for the younger generation that look up to you as not just a race car driver, but as an athlete and a person?
Well, for the younger ones that want to make it in racing, not a lot, because I don't want to have to race and beat you. But for the other ones that, for younger generation who just loves our sport and looks to it for encouragement for their future, I think that this sport is not much different than the real world in the sense that to be successful, you got to grind it out. You got to work hard at it every day. You got to be the best you can be. It's not a overnight success type thing. That's probably the biggest myth in the world. You'd be amazed at how much you can do, you know, in a good year's work. So keep progressing and keep digging.
All right, last one for me. How much different do you think the championship will be this year at Phoenix instead of last year at Homestead?
I don't see it being much different. You know, both areas are beautiful to go to. You know, I obviously the racing will be a little bit different, a little bit tighter, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I see it being very similar.